Jesus Christmas. Internet, please, cooperate with me just this once. This is happening so consistently lately. I just have no idea what's up. Anyway, I backed up the video a little bit. Megalophobia. Which, for those who are unaware, megalophobia is the fear of very big things. Which I like to think I have a little bit of, but it's like circumstantial. And obviously, like, there's like a threshold to where like something big would actually creep me out. But like I was just saying, like, so crazy how we can. Wait, did I mention it with the in the thalassophobia? Am I just repeating myself? But like, we are able to build such big things, and they're able to fit within down in the depths of the waters. It's crazy. Anyway, big things with some unsettling music. We got what looks like some art pieces more than anything else. Wind turbines. They don't look as big as they really are in the distance. I'm not sure if this one is real. I don't know, something tells me like it could be like an art piece. I'm pretty sure this is edited. Is this like a big cathedral? That's a big cathedral. Which, I think that just looks cool. Big wheels. What the fuck? Okay, it's pretty clear that's not real. Whoa! I mean, near volcanic activity, that doesn't shock me. Oil rigs, they can be quite sizely, quite girthy. Oh, a rock biter. On his rocker cycle. What is that? Like some sort of communication tower? Big, like, art exhibition? Is that a boat? I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I mean, this wouldn't shock me if it was real, but I can't be sure. Hot air balloon? Wow. It's kind of cool. Oh man. Oh, that would give me the heebie-jeebies. Big munchers. Pretty sure it's not real though. I mean, I'm not looking through these videos trying to determine if they're real or not. It's whether they're scary or not. Whoa. Ooh. I could have sworn there was another megalophobia video like right after this one. Maybe I like juggled it up a bit. Okay, we got another short film called The Beast. unnerving atmosphere to start with. Steeling myself for potential jump scare. Whoop! Gotti! Man, imagine if there was, like, a horror adaptation for, like, Narnia. Then again, isn't that kind of what the Backrooms is? Maybe without all the, like, all the, allegorical characters and whatnot, but, you know, get transported to a different realm that defies reality. I wouldn't mind a horror adaptation of Narnia, though. Ooh. I didn't notice that at first. Witch! Lights off! Bats! Amazing flexibility you got there. Or you're just, like, particularly thin. Your name wouldn't happen to be Dante, would it? Or Virgil? Heaven forbid, Lucifer? Ooh. It's just a little worm. It is but a worm. A worm with no clip. Ooh. Ooh. I'm partly wondering, like, how much of this might be CGI. Is that still rock? And it's just wet? Or is it, like, transitioning into flesh? Oh, it's flesh. That's very much a sphincter. I think I remember there being like a creepypasta, like somebody venturing into a cave, and then they lose they lose their ability to escape. Oh, they lose the way out, and then as they go deeper, it like the stone transitions to flesh. I'm trying to think. I think it was called God's Mouth. You seem wholly unconcerned with your situation, my dude. Relatively speaking. Like, I think you're likely to be, you're likely to be, assimilated. That's a nice way to put it. You'll be acidified into digestible mush. This is what happens when... Ooh. This is what happens when you willingly crawl into a stonefish's mouth with, like, zero critical thought whatsoever. Don't want to get digested? Don't crawl into fish's mouths. It's that easy. But this is a horror short film called The Beast. You can find it on Alter. Yep, what'd I tell you, dude? Getting absorbed. Getting assimilated. Yeah, that was pretty unsettling. Good thing I have a stronger fascination with, like, body horror stuff than I do fear. Next up is another short film from Alter. After this, we got 2 more videos. We can wrap up stream. This is The Hide Behind. Great film, good effects. Yeah! Yeah, Alter has a lot of good, like, horror and sci-fi shorts. Lots of good stuff with good production. the woods. We're in the woods. Looks like it's still, like, not early morning, but, like... Actually, it's probably, like, peak morning. Mid-morning. A tree? Multiple trees? The horror! I wonder where this was shot. Get lost, something. Is it like somewhere up in Canada? Get lost in nature. Yeah. We're in nature! Hola!
Hello!
¿Qué pasa? Ouch. If it's like a bruise, I don't know how much, like, putting water on it would help. Oh, okay, never mind. Hmm.
Hey! Hello?
Imagine if it was like a human spider nest.
Please! I'm lost and I'm hurt.
Hello, can I speak to your manager? Also, I forgot to say, welcome in, X4R2.
Did you come from a trail? Hey, are you hearing me?
Social distancing.
What are you doing?
It's just a shy guy. Signal from this new stranger that it wants to play. I thought it was funny. Come on, let there be more. Aw. Ooh. Yeah, that ain't great. But hey, you weren't playing the game right. You're supposed to hide, not run. Imagine if it reached out from behind, like from underneath the, like the black bars. Just in a terrifyingly meta moment. Probably a good idea to not be close to any trees. It's just your local shy wizard tree hugger. That was neat. I would imagine like this would be something that Crypt TV would come up with. Okay, what's next? A creepypasta reenacted through a source filmmaker. It has no face.
Everyone has tales about the strange and bizarre. My story is about how my ski mask saved my life, and continues to save my life to this very day. Late in December, I was traveling north from California to my home state of Oregon. Nothing fancy, I was just going to visit the family for the holidays.
Wizard needs to practice their smile with feedback.
Nothing awful, just a lot of snow falling at once. I wasn't worried about the small increase of snow at first, considering I had snow tires installed before I started my long journey home. I did, however, get a little hesitant to drive when the snow started to really come down. The large amount of falling snow, coupled with the large amount of already littering the ground as I traveled higher into the mountains, caused me to consider finding a place to stay for the night. the storm passed over. That and the fact that I could give my car's heater a break before it would decide to burst into flames, or worse, just stop working altogether. I scanned as much of the landscape as I could, but there were no buildings in the immediate area. The only other option I had for my predicament was to keep driving and hope there was a town or exit nearby that I could take in order to escape from the storm. I must have been driving for at least an hour before I saw a sign up ahead indicating how far the closest city was. My heart sank a little when I read 162 miles.
Yeesh.
Flew by my windshield and vanished into the snowy night. At this point, the snow was beating against my windshield, and I knew I wasn't going to last 162 minutes, let alone miles. The digital clock on my radio read 1:21 a.m., and I decided that the next turnoff I saw, I would take and hope that I could find a neighborhood that will produce some results on my current endeavor. My thought process was either freeze to death in my car or stay the night at some random person's house. Weighing the two options in my head, I picked the only thing a sane person would pick and tried to find a house. Another 30 minutes flew by and still no luck finding a place to pull off. Just when I was starting to lose hope, I saw a turnoff in the distance. A small shape started to make its way closer to my headlights. On further inspection, it was revealed to me that there were two wooden poles that possibly belonged to a fence. When I turned onto the road between the two wooden poles, the ground beneath felt rocky and rough, like I was traveling on gravel. I didn't drive for too long before I started to see a small cabin creep into my field of view. The lights in the cabin were off, but the place seemed to be in fairly good shape. I parked my car under a tall, wild-looking tree that took residence on the cabin's front lawn. Getting out of my car, I immediately grabbed my extra jacket and put it on. Also, pulling the ski mask I wore around my neck up over my ears to keep heat around my face. After putting my cap snug on my head,
As
I trudged
ski
up to the
masks
cabin.
do.
As I traveled through the cold, windy night up to what I felt was my salvation, I immediately regretted not getting any gloves for my hands. Despite the irritation I had with my hands, my face and the rest of my body were comfortably warm, so I didn't have much room to complain.
Tuck them into your
I stuffed
pits.
my frozen hands deep into my pockets and continued my journey across the cabin's lawn. As I made my way to the door, I noticed something a bit odd. There was no indication of light, though. There wasn't even a car in the front yard. Taking my right hand out of my pocket, I knocked 3 times, waiting patiently before saying, "Hello? Is anybody there? I'm sorry to bother you so late at night, but I need a place
Bumper
to
sticker
stay
on the
for a
front of
few
the
hours."
truck. I didn't see it.
Nothing answered my plea for help.
Frowny face.
The door, with my knuckles harder against the aged wood of the entrance. "Hello?" I said, again a little louder before continuing with, "I'm not here to rob you or anything. I just need a place to stay for the rest of the night.
Exactly
I
what a
promise
robber
I
would
will
say.
be there by sunrise." As I finished my last sentence, I touched the ornate metal door handle, noticing that the door seemed to be unlocked. I said in a loud voice, "I'm coming in now. If there's anybody in there, please, please let me know." I pressed the metal lever down, finding it a bit odd that the door was unlocked, and opened the door with little resistance on the other end, closing it behind me with about the same resistance despite the fact the door was really, really old. Looking around the area, I noticed the cabin had 5 rooms, the living room, which was the largest, a small kitchen, an even smaller washroom, and what I assumed were 2 small bedrooms in the back. No light.
Sorry to pause it, but I really gotta go to the bathroom. So I will be right back, real quick. I return. Yeah, I tried to hold it until we finished the playlist, but alas, I have drank a fair amount of coffee throughout today, and you know how coffee is.
We're on inside this cozy cabin, making it almost perfectly dark, if my eyes weren't already adjusted to the darkness from outside. I decided the best thing to do would be to search for a light switch, so I took out my phone and turned on the flashlight app to scan the walls. Of course, my scan produced no results, however, and at the risk of losing precious battery power on my phone, I decided the best option would be to turn off the light and put my phone on airplane mode. Before turning off my light, I studied the paintings hanging on the wall that I glossed over in the initial scan. Each painting that crossed my sight was just typical landscapes of harbors, things like that. There was a painting that looked like a fox hunter, something similar, but other than that, it was
Imagine if one of them was just a picture of Two Fort.
Small and consisted of what looked like two adults, mother, father, a teenage girl, and a small child. The family captured in that painting were wearing what looked like Victorian-era clothing. I'm only guessing about the clothes. I mean, they could have been from the 1800s or early 20th century. The point is that the clothing was very ornate and regal. There was something really disturbing about the image, though. The faces of each member of the family appeared as if they were smooth over clay. It's kind of hard to describe, I know, but the three family members looked like they had no facial features. By no facial features, I mean, instead of the normal ones that you and I have, the three people in the painting had grooves of smooth flesh where normally you would have eyes or a nose or mouth. The only person in the painting that didn't possess a blank face was the teenage girl, which appeared to be normal for a teenage girl. In fact, she was actually quite breathtaking. I pulled myself away from the painting to take a glance at my phone for the first time.
Inspired choice of model.
O'clock in the morning, so I decided to go back to the room and check to see if it was occupied. To my relief, the room was vacant. Besides a medium-sized bed, ornate dresser, and a nightstand, there wasn't much to go by. The walls were blank, apart from more savvy paintings to give it a little more atmosphere, I suppose. Although there was no indication of a heating system, besides a chimney, the rooms were bearable enough that I figured I could just bundle up my clothes under the covers in order to stay warm. I was only going to be there for a few hours anyway, so there wasn't much point in starting a fire, plus the people who owned the cabin would be back tonight considering how late it was. I hopped into the worn-out
I
bed.
wonder if the clock was cold and it was shivering.
Assumed it was the clock.
Out of order.
Pulled my ski mask completely up over my face to make sure my head would stay nice and warm for the rest of my stay. Pulling the fabric of my mask down slightly, I set the alarm on my phone for 4:30 a.m. and put it back down on the nightstand. I covered my face again and bundled up tightly with the sheets, closing my eyes and letting dreamland take me away until I woke up after what only felt like minutes. The sound of scratching. My body froze as I heard the noise over and over again, softly coming from the closed door. I tried to relax, thinking that all the noises that I heard was just probably a rat or some other animal that was spending the night in the closet while the cabin's owners were away. Quietly, I shifted onto my back, pulling my ski mask down slightly so a little slit appeared, giving me a small window to look out at what was there. Laid on the bed, stiff as a board, my cap, my mask, and my face in such a way that it acted almost like a visor, giving me a small peek at what was in the darkness.
Give you a heads-up display.
Thankfully, my eyes were still adjusted to the dark, which gave me a small amount of reassurance as I
Clock goes brrrr.
The scratching continued, louder and louder for what seemed like minutes until, just like that, it stopped. shouted as it backed off further away from the bed. I heard the thing breathing loudly and quickly before calming down and slowly returning to the side of the bed.
Yeah, dude, you don't have a face either.
Slowly, the creature continued to look at me before softly beginning to breathe on my face. I could smell its foul breath even through my mask. The smell was so powerful that it took all my strength not to gag as a reflex to the awful stench. In my mind, I made the choice to keep motionless, to not do or say anything that would compromise whatever illusion I was giving the thing that was currently studying me. The creature breathed on me again, softly. The stench I smelled from its breath could only be described as rotten, which only strengthened my resolve to stay perfectly motionless. Strange, the thing whispered at me again, leaning in close to me to the point where I could see and smell its decaying flesh. The creature slowly reached for me. Its hand moved slowly towards my face. With every inch that decaying hand moved, I couldn't help but feel my situation becoming more and more dire. I thought that this was it for me. The creature would kill me tonight, or take me away and torture me, then kill me. No one would know what happened to me. No one would find my body out there, and no one would know my story. I could feel tears start to well up in my eyes as I thought of everyone I ever loved being yanked away from me in this one very moment. No face. No face. No face. The creature softly chanted as its hands crept ever closer to my face. I could hear the anguish in the creature's voice as it continued chanting over and over as it reached for me. As its long, bony hand crept only centimeters away from my face, I braced myself for the worst, making the last thoughts I would ever have about the people I loved. Just as I thought my life was all over, a sudden loud noise erupted from the room, filling the ear closest to the nightstand. Blood and beams
Phone alarm jump scare.
back. As the noise continued, the creature threw itself back against the wall, shrieking uncontrollably in terror as it stumbled back towards the closet. I was dumbstruck for a second, before the thought came to me that I had set my alarm at 4:30, which must have been the source of all the noise. I jumped out of the bed, grabbed my phone, and pointed the lit-up screen at the monster as the alarm continued to ring loudly. The loud ringing caused the monster to shriek even more in confusion and terror as it retreated, quicker as I approached. Seeing my chance, I activated my phone's flashlight and put it on strobe in order to disorientate the monster further. No face! No face! No face! No face! The creature shrieked at me as it withdrew to the safety of the closet. I continued to shine my light on the creature. For the added effect, I started playing loud music as I continued to jab my phone into the monster's direction like a lion tamer. The thing threw itself into the dark recesses of the closet, and I shoved the door back, locking it after I slammed it closed.
Get misophonia, idiot.
The monster started to get fainter and fainter, like it was almost retreating deeper into the house.
That's why they produce such horrid alarms.
No face! No face! I could hear the creature yell out as it got further and further away. After hearing the last retreating words of the thing that terrified me the whole night, I bolted from the cabin at breakneck speed, jumping into my car and floored it off the gravel road. I was shaking all over as I drove. When I pulled my ski mask further down to expose my skin, I was as white as the snow
sauntered up like any other day.
Continued into the store. The cashier looked up at me and traced my direction with his eyes before continuing with what he was doing. The store was mostly empty, aside from an elderly couple. I was the only customer in there. Rough night? The cashier said, one eyebrow cocked up while he scanned my items. You have no idea, I said, looking out the window at the sun breaking over the horizon. I noticed you looked a bit upset when you came in. What happened? You dumped or something? He said, looking up at me as the register computed how much I owed him. Looking at the young man behind the register, he seemed to be a little younger than I was, although that didn't say much because even though I'm 22, I do look younger than my actual age. I looked at the cashier's name tag for a second before feeling that I had nothing to lose by telling him about the night I just had. The small name on his ID read Evan. And as I finished telling him my frightening tale, something odd happened. I expected him to burst out laughing or say that I was the best liar he had ever talked to. Instead of doing any of that, Evan just stood there. His skin milk white as he stared at me with an expression so horrifying, he gave me the impression that he had just witnessed something get run over by a train or something. Evan, you alright? I said, looking into his eyes while we both just stood there, silent. What? Oh, yeah. It's just... Evan began to say before his thoughts trailed off due to a new feeling that we were both being watched.
Ugh.
I began to feel eyes burned into the back of my head before turning around to see the old couple I glanced at when I entered the store beforehand. The old couple possessed the same horrified expression that Evan had just a few seconds ago. They must have heard the whole story I told. After a few moments of silence, the old couple asked me what I knew about the cabin, which I couldn't really say. I gave them the best description I could about what I saw. The couple proceeded to tell me about the cabin, how long it had been there, and that it was haunted by a presence so terrifying that the place was condemned and left to rot away after so many people disappeared there. They told me that no one who ever stayed in that cabin has ever been seen alive again, that they've ever been seen at all after their visit.
That was a good lip sync.
One of my best friends stayed the night in that cabin. Evan said quietly as he stared off into the distance, but continued his thoughts with, I refused to go into the cabin. I knew something bad would happen if we went. I tried so hard to convince him that Dare was stupid and to not go in, but he refused to be labeled as a chicken. Continued with Dare. Evan's eyes began to water as he continued with his story. I never saw him again after that night. I kept calling his house, but his parents still couldn't find him. Put up flyers, billboards, but
Scouter Evan glitching out.
after a few days we contacted the police and I told
I don't
them
know.
about the cabin.
I wonder if it's intentional.
Evan began to choke down his tears as he clenched his fist. They found him in the basement of that cabin, sprawled out on the floor. His eyes
Ooh.
were down at his face. His nose had been removed and his lips were sliced clean off. When they found him, he was naked with an incision in the bottom of his rib cage, down to his pelvis in the middle of his body. All of his organs were extracted from his body, and to add insult to injury, his genitals were sliced clean off.
Oof.
But you want to know the worst part of it all? When the police did the autopsy on the body, they found that he was alive during the whole process.
Yeesh.
Evan winced as he remembered the whole gruesome sight and said, "We never found who or what did it. There was no DNA evidence to convict anybody. They didn't find the tools that made the incisions, and they didn't find anything." Evan clenched his fist tighter on the table before the old man, listening to our conversation, put his hand on Evan's shoulder to reassure him that it was going to be all right. As he comforted Evan, he looked at me and said, "People have been disappearing from the area for decades, maybe even centuries.
You're right, Santa.
foreboding face I had ever seen. If your story is true, you should consider yourself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. In all my years of living, you are the only one to go into that cabin and emerge alive. The woman said, gripping onto her husband's hand tightly as she spoke to me. After hearing the old woman's words, I realized that Evan said the body of his friend was found in the basement, which would explain why the monster's voice got fainter. It would have pulled me into the basement if my phone hadn't gone off. I quickly paid for my items and left the store, more troubled now than I was when I entered. Feeling drowsy due to the lack of sleep and the constant adrenaline rush caused by the whole terrible ordeal, I decided to go to a hotel and spend my day sleeping and relaxing to get my mind off things. That night, I sat on the bed in my hotel room and looked at the two items that saved my life. In one hand, I gripped onto my ski mask, which hid my face from that terrible monster. In my other hand, I held my cell phone, which scared away the horrible beast that could have killed me. I decided from that day on, I would always wear my ski mask to bed. It saved my life, and that's the least I can do for it. The recent brush with death I just experienced had taught me that life is far too precious to waste, so I decided to ask my best friend Samantha out on a date. Things
Nice.
worked out perfectly. Samantha and I were together for 2 years before I recently asked her for her hand in marriage, which she said yes. Part of me
Cool.
will never ever forget that awful night. Because of it, not only have I been wearing my ski mask to bed every night since then, I've also made it a priority not to live in any type of house that has a basement. As an added safety measure, I started locking every door before going to bed. It's a pain, but you can never be too careful. Despite these crazy precautions, Samantha has accepted my little quirks and has continued to be supportive as we continue our journey through life together. I couldn't be happier with the way things turned out in my life. I'm so lucky to be with Samantha. Everything's perfect. There's just one thing that bothers me, and I think I might just have to blame my imagination sometime. When I wake up at night, that's when maybe sometimes I hear soft scratching.
Sometimes I'll hear my phone go off.
I think it's just paranoid, but I swear, sometimes I hear someone whisper, "No, please," from inside my closet.
Dun dun! Cool. Alright. Did he tell Samantha about it? I don't know. Maybe the cabin is an SCP-2 and can't be destroyed. Only one way to find out. Have a, have a D-class. Head on in. Give it a go. Alright. This is our last video for tonight. And I know I wanted to find something that I was pretty much completely certain would creep me out. It's just called Guest. It's a short film. And also, yes, this says if you have suicidal thoughts, tell someone. Samaritans can be reached at 116-123. So, very important reminder. Project Violet Productions. Yeah, this is on Finn Callan's channel. Whew. Speaking of phone alarm jump scares. Ugh. Mary, what's that in your hand? And then she doesn't respond because she's nonverbal. Ugh! Oh, I hate it. Ugh, I hate it. I just can't. I have to look away every time. The thumbnail for this video was just that guy. And it's like, oh, my scopophobia hates that. Ah! Oh! Oh, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, fuck. Ugh. Yeah, that's probably gonna fuck it up. Jesus Christ. Ah. Ah, stop it! Ah, fuck. I instinctually looked down. Oh, the fact that... like, she just stares. I hate it. Real nice of you to lock the door. Oh boy. Fuck! Ah! 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 It's a little more tolerable when you don't stare directly at me. Ah. Thank God that's over. Yeah, I kind of properly hated that. I mean, the, the short itself is good. Special effects are all practical. Very well done. Good job, Finn. You managed to creep out of Froggy tonight. very, very creep. But anyway, that is all I have for tonight. Ah, I think I've finally gotten all the post-Halloween vibes, I guess. I think it's all out of my system sufficiently now. Which means next Monday we can get back into the regular swing of things. I don't really know what I want to get up to next Monday. But I know I've been kind of itching to do more Dwarf Fortress. Either that or I know I downloaded a patch to translate Toho 19 into pretty much all English. So now I can play the whole game for all y'all, and everything is legible. Fun and creepy, mostly creepy at the end. That's what I was going for. Again, I had to pick something that would creep even me out, because I mean, yeah, I'm mostly desensitized to a lot of horror stuff, but like I got my weak spots. Scopophobia is probably my biggest like my weakness. Biggest weakness, which, if you don't know, scopophobia is the fear of being stared at, which I will also say, you know, you would think, like, it's the fear of being stared at in general, and, like, there is a degree of that, but most of the time, for me, there's, like, a certain threshold to where, like, it actually genuinely starts to freak me out. And I'm partly wondering if that's just because of my autism. Because, you know, eye contact tends to be difficult for most people on the spectrum. I say most, but you know, I can't exactly speak for everyone else. But yeah, like, either, like, wide open eyes, or particularly, like, realistic eyes that seem, like, disembodied in a cloak of, like, solid wall of darkness. I hate that a lot. I can't stand it. And to an extent, it kind of, like, extends over into, like, eyeballs in general. It depends on how they're presented, though. I mean, obviously, like, eyeballs that still have, say, like, the optical nerve, like, still attached, like, that's... I don't think it's irrational to be discomforted by that. Whereas, like, eyeballs that are just eyeballs, I tend to have a better tolerance for. And then usually it's gotta be like... no, the beholder doesn't freak me out that much. I was about to say, like, most of the time it has to be photorealistic. You know, usually if it's, like, stylized in just the right way, like a beholder, then usually I can tolerate it. also if like the eyeballs are like conveyed as not being human, you know, so like if it has like lizard slits or if something say like the Eye of Sauron, like that doesn't bother me. And then like just having people try to make eye contact with me in like a public setting, um, you know, usually that doesn't bother me so much. Um, usually I can get by pretty okay. Um, obviously it only gets like uncomfortable when like they're staring me down, essentially. Yeah, it Froggy no likey. Anyway, that is all I have for tonight. Thank you all my Lily pals for coming in and enjoying the scares with me. Or the laughs. Yeah, I know with a lot of, like the cryptid and the ghost videos, like, I very frequently, like, take the piss out of them just because, like, I'm very clearly, like, an adamant skeptic when it comes to that stuff. You know, I don't believe ghosts are real. I don't believe most cryptids are real, at least presented the way they are. You know, there might be some cases where, like, chupacabra, it turns out they're coyotes with mange, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, or even like the Tsuchinoko, like the chubby snake in Japan. Like, I could see how that has some basis in reality. It's just a fat snake. Thanks for sharing the spooks. You're welcome. I wanted to finish off the best holiday of the season off right. And as I said, as of next Monday, and likely for, you know, the rest of the month, possibly into December, it's probably just going to be regular streams from here on out. I'll get rid of the creepy crimson filter in the background. I'll swap out the Halloween BGM for the regular one. Everything will go back to normal. And we can get back to our usual Froggy variety shenanigans. But yeah. So yeah, next Monday, it might be Dwarf Fortress, it might be Toho 19. Or it could be something else. I might feel like doing something else entirely. I don't know. But anyhow, now is that time at the end of my streams where I plug all my socials. Aside from Twitter, because I want to try it getting off of Twitter. And then, I know I've mentioned a couple of times now, I do have a VStream account. I'm looking to possibly start streaming over there. I still need to look deeper into, like, if I can actually stream there, or if I still need the 100 follower minimum. Nevertheless, 100 followers is still a milestone. So, if any of you Lily Pals can follow me over there, I would much, 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 much appreciate it, regardless of intent or context. Alright. Yeah. Cool. And this is the part where we look into who we might be able to raid. I got the raid messages ready for subs and non. How was stream? It was good. I know I finished it off on something that even I was creeped out by, but that was completely by intent. Otherwise, I had fun. If you're curious, when I upload the VODs, VODs plural, because of internet disconnects, internet hiccups. Yeah. But yeah, like I was looking through like cryptid and ghost video stuff and just completely taking the piss out of them. Because I'm kind of a killjoy like that. But nevertheless, it's fun to look at, fun to watch. Anyhow, now is that time. You're a killjoy and we love you. I love you! I love you this much and more! You too, Stellar! Love you so much! I appreciate you in my lives. Yay. Alright, we need to find somebody to raid. There's quite a few peeps that are streaming tonight. Let's see. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Who shall it be? And a Yakuza-man is streaming. Hanao is streaming. I don't necessarily want to raid into somebody who's, you know, playing a spooky game. I don't necessarily have to do that. You know, while TF2 and like Source Filmmaker is still fresh in my mind, how about we raid Patty Cakes, who's playing TF2 right now? We can have a cool fun time with her. Alright, Lily Pals, I'll see you next week with whatever I decide to get up to. And I once again thank you all so much for indulging me in my interests, in my endeavors. It always means more than you know. I hope you all have a good night and or time zone. Oh yeah, I can finally turn on the lamp now in my room. I was watching the whole thing in the darkness. Try and get into the mood. Anyway, I'll see you all next time, Lily Pals. I've got really nothing left to tell ya. I hope you all had a fun and spooky time to wrap up our Halloween hangover. I got nothing else. I love you all. Oh yeah, Swimmy. I watched that last one in the dark, yes. Anyway. Oh yeah, Swimmy.